Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the JM Touchdown Show, where we bring you episode 6, recorded on May 4th, 2022. My name is Joe Shea of Fanatics Sports, and joining me today is Mike Kennedy of KennedyNFL. And Mike actually just graduated from college. Let's all just give him a little round of applause if you can. Yeah, rub off the shoulders, do your thing. Now, Mike, what are we starting with today?
Well, it's been a while, Joe. So some things have happened in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's this small thing. They call it the draft. Have you heard of the draft?
The military draft? Similar?
It's a little bit different than that one.
Yeah, okay.
It's the NFL draft. It actually happened last week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And we're here to recap it, Like, it might be a couple days late, but we got to break down who won,
nearly a week,
lost, and some of the stories that came out of the draft. So first up, before we get into winners and losers, well, I guess this is technically a loser. We got to talk about your New England Patriots because you were going through it this weekend.
Let me pull up the whole draft class real quick.
It's pretty much
so in the first round, we drafted Cole Strange, a third-round prospect, offensive guard from Chattanooga, school no one's ever heard of. We're used to that, by the way, over here in Massachusetts, the Foxborough area. We were at 21. I was like, Devin Lloyd, Trent McDuffie, someone. Corner, linebacker, that's what I wanted.
And the fact that they traded to a conference rival in the Chiefs, who got the corner that the Patriots could have gotten and they desperately needed.
Yeah, and then the Jaguars traded up and I got Devin Lloyd, and it was like 2 picks before us. And I was like, what are we going to do now? I don't know who's available for corner or linebacker, but no. We traded away Shaq Mason, which I was like okay with because he was money, freed up some money. We got like I forget what pick, not a high pick, but it was okay. I thought that would be like a later addresser because the rest of our offensive line is very solid with Owenwu win, even though he's injured. David Andrews, an absolute dog. And yeah, but no. And Trent Brown.
With Cole Strange, it's like the best possible outcome.
Strange pick.
We're not entertaining that. But the best possible outcome, he could be Shaq Mason.
He could be good.
But you just traded him Shaq Mason away for a mid-round pick, and then you spent
a first-round pick on a mid-round pick.
Yeah, so
on a day 2 guy.
It's not a good look.
I would have been fine if we took him in the second round, I guess, because it's like, all right, we reached a round. No, we reached 2 rounds when we could have had the best linebacker. The best linebacker in the draft was at 21. Let's get that out of the way. A top 4 corner in the class, top 5 corner, but no. So not a fan of that pick. Round 2, we take John Ross 2.0 and Tyquan Thornton when absolute menace NFL young boy George Pickens was available, but he was built for the AFC North. If you saw the video of him reacting to him getting drafted, I'm guessing.
I actually did not.
Look it up. I'm not saying another word till you look it up. George Pickens watching him getting drafted.
Oh, George Pickens. Yeah. I thought you were talking about
no, the one where he's just standing at the team like that. No, the guy's a menace.
I love him already.
Yeah, no, he's either going to be an all-pro or suspended by week 2. I mean, there's no in between.
I thought it was a joke when I first saw someone post a screenshot of it, but it was actually
real. I thought it was a joke too. We could have Sky Moore, even though I'm not the biggest fan of him, but still, no, we took Tyquan Thornton, 6'3", 180 pounds. He's gonna die whenever he gets hit, and I hate this pick. He ran a 4.28. When has that ever been a New England Patriot thing? Why does that matter to us? That has never been our thing. And honestly, our receivers aren't as bad anymore. We have Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, Aguilar. I want to get the hell out of New England, but still, we have depth now. N'Keal Harry. But no, I hated that pick. So I was like, could have Pickens, Sky Moore, etc. I wasn't a fan of that one guy, Alec. I forget his name, but yeah, whatever. I wasn't a fan of him. So I didn't want him. But and then round 3, Marcus Jones. One sec. We took a corner that is 2 inches taller than me in the NFL. Out of Houston.
For nobody who knows, Joe here is very short.
Yeah, I'm a staggering 5'6". But Marcus Jones is 5'8". So I'm like I said, like 2 inches shorter about, and you took him in the third round. I mean, yeah, obviously there are corners who are small that are good, but I just didn't like the pick at all. I'm like, why? And then we go with Jack Jones. Sure. Don't know much about. Oh, and then we go running back. Oh, like we don't have Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, James White. Yeah, he's on a 1-year deal. JJ Taylor, who's, he does some stuff for us, believe it or not. That's only like, that was someone you would know if you watched, but, I was like, okay, that's sick. Oh, and then round 4, pick 32, Bailey Zapp, Western Kentucky. We took a backup quarterback in the 4th round when we could have had, when we drafted a quarterback in the 1st round last year. I mean, yeah, he's obviously going to be our backup. Knock on wood, Mac Jones doesn't get hurt or anything, but still, why? Like, why? Someone actually not bad quarterback was taken with the last pick of the draft. We could have had him. Brock Purdy, right?
Like there were so many other quarterbacks, like even Sam Howell. I don't know what happened with him, but like
we'll get to that later. And then round 6, another running back. Why? Oh, sure, defensive tackle, round 6, that's fine. Another round 6 pick, offensive guard. Sure. Round 7, other offensive guard. Sure. Why? This was so we didn't get a single linebacker. Dante Hightower is gone, basically. He's gone. Juwan Bentley's our number 1 linebacker. We cut Van Noy, I think. Yeah. I mean, he's trash anyways. He's not good anyways. So I mean, either way. Oh, and then you're over there with a smile on your face, like the Steelers didn't have an insane draft besides the 1st round. I'm pretty sure.
You want to talk about it?
Get into it. Talk about
I've upset quite a few Steelers fans on Twitter today just because I happened to say that they reached on Kenny Pickett and Najee Harris last year. I'm like,
oh, Kenny Pickett, don't even get me started.
So I was really hoping for Malik Willis in this draft. And if the Steelers did not get Willis, I was ready to just not even take a quarterback this year. Roll forward with Mitch Trubisky, try again next year when it's a more loaded class. I just feel like the Kenny Pickett pick, the Steelers are a very old school organization. They do a lot of things that just current teams in the NFL would not do.
Yeah.
Such as taking a quarterback who, oh, by the way, he went to Pittsburgh, who share the same stadium. And back in the day, they passed on Dan Marino, so they're not going to make that same mistake this time. Let's take the local kid. It's a good story. Like, it's a good story how they picked Connor Hayward because Cameron Hayward also plays for the Steelers. And they have the Watt brothers and the Davis brothers and the Edmonds brothers. It's a good story for an old class organization.
Well, that's a round 6 pick, though. It's not.
Yeah, I didn't really mind that one. It's just another show of how old school the team is. But Kenny Pickett, what do I say? I've come around a little bit on it. Like, I don't despise the pick, but the fact that the quarterbacks all fell. The next wasn't till 74? Desmond Ridder, something like that. Kenny Pickett. Who's to say he wouldn't have been there in the 2nd round when the Steelers picked George Pickens at 52, or maybe even the 3rd round when they picked DeMarvin Leal? Who's to say? But he's probably the most safe quarterback in this class.
He is.
He doesn't have a high ceiling, but I mean the Steelers, they're always like the most floor team in the NFL, if that makes sense. Like, they're never terrible. They never bottom out. They always want to be in playoff contention. So he'll help them fulfill that. He probably won't start week 1 because Mike Tomlin's going to let him compete. Mitch Trubisky might win that job. We'll see how that plays out. But for the rest of the draft, I really loved a lot of what they did. Doubling down on receiver with George Pickens and Calvin Austin III, both who were projected to go higher and were more talented. But George Pickens, he's had some issues off the field, but really on the field, like getting ejected from games and stuff like that.
The menace. He's a menace. He's a weird guy. I mean, he's good at football, but he's a menace.
but they're both really talented, and
Oh yeah.
they lost Juju, Ray McLeod, and James Washington this offseason. Three of their
Okay.
top
Why are you
five
bringing up
receivers.
Ray McLeod like that?
Because
matters?
he's not good, but they used him a lot last year.
Okay.
So Calvin Austin will probably fulfill that role this year. But Deontay Johnson, free agent next year. Chase Claypool, we don't
Year
really know
after,
what's
right?
going on there. He's one of those guys where like, do they really see eye to eye with the team? So they could keep them, they could move on, but this gives them that security blanket in case they do move on, because the Steelers, we always know they're one of the best receiver drafting teams in the
Yeah,
NFL,
always
especially in
have
the
been.
second and third rounds.
Wish I could say the same.
And Antonio Brown is really the only guy that they've kept past their rookie contract. They usually get it out of him, like get good play out of them for 4 years, see
Then
them go,
gone.
like Juju, Washington, Marcus Wheat, and Martavis Bryant. That was a little different, but you get the picture. And then DeMarvin Leal, he was this time last year projected to be like a top 10 pick, but he had a bit of a down year with Texas A&M, but he really fits the scheme of the Steelers defensive line. And we don't know what's happening with Stephon Tuitt. Is he even going to play again? So I really like that pick.
Wait, what's wrong with Tuitt?
He didn't even play at all last year because he had death in the family. He was going through like mental issues and all that.
Oh, okay.
And he's still not back. But the rest of the picks, Connor Hayward, that's fine. Mark Robinson. And I don't like them taking another quarterback in the 7th round, because when's the last time a 7th round quarterback, like regardless, 7th round picks hardly work out, but especially quarterbacks. It's like, it doesn't mean a lot because it's a 7th round pick, but I'd rather throw a dart at another position.
Yeah.
But overall, I'd say probably like a B+ for the Steelers.
Yeah.
What would you grade the Patriots?
C-. Because we did get, we filled positions of need, but it was a reach on like nearly every pick. Now let's just give 2 winners, 2 losers. I'm going to start my favorite team in this draft. Well, second favorite team. I'll start with them first. And I hate to say this because my roommate is a fan of them, and I have a funny video of him flipping out in like a good way. The New York Giants. They drafted Kayvon Thibodeau at 5. Great pick. He could have gone number 1 overall if apparently character concerns, but from everything I've seen,
teams just don't like players that are smarter than them.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's just what the reports say, but from what I've seen, he seems fine. Evan Neal, great pick. Don't know how he wasn't the first tackle taken. Ike Elefonwu. Sure. Sorry, I didn't know. Is great, but I think Evan Neal's at least has a higher floor. Those are 2 great picks that fill positions of desperate need on their team. Andrew Thomas now has like some help on the line because he played better last year. Round 2, a little confusing, but I get it. They picked a wide receiver, and I'll explain why I get it and why I kind of like it. You can cut Sterling Shepard now and get him the hell out of New York, or Darius Slayton, their choice. Get rid of one or both of them.
I thought the Giants probably had the best day one one of them in the draft, but after that, they made a couple puzzling picks where I wouldn't put them on the top list of the winners. So I really
think what they did at 5 and 7 is like outside.
Yeah, it's going to put him up there regardless, because that's the most important part. But like Wan'Dale Robinson, he's not even really a receiver. He's more like a gadget player. I think he's like 5'8", 175 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, but
there were so many, like George Pickens, Sky Moore, a lot of other receivers available. And we don't know what's happening with Kadarius Toney. I don't know how true that one report was. It seems like it's just, I don't know. I don't really get that pick.
And then, they go guard in the 3rd with Joshua Azudu. Sure. From North Carolina. Helps out the O-line. Corner with Cordell Flott from LSU. I don't know how to pronounce like any name.
You chose this team.
Again, just getting some depth. Daniel Bellinger. I'm going to say Bellinger for sure. San Diego State tight end. They just lost Evan Engram. They have Kyle Rudolph, who's wicked old. Dane Belton, Iowa safety. My roommate was saying good stuff about him. He was a fan because he was like, yeah, he can help out with Xavier McKinney. Micah McFadden. All right, this is to the point where I don't really know anyone. So
The draft is 4.5 rounds long, basically.
yeah. I mean, they've got some positions of need, especially in the first round. Second round, like I agree with you, it's a bit iffy, but I get it. Third round, sure, corner and guard, whatever. And then what's your first winner?
So I'm going to go with one of the Giants' rivals, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. First, I want to say it's kind of difficult assigning draft grades because what do we really consider the draft? Like, do we consider veteran players that were traded? If we do we consider only ones that were traded like during the draft, like AJ Brown was? Like, would we consider Matthew Stafford for the Rams?
I do consider veteran trades of draft picks on draft, not even just on draft night, as a part of the draft. I do consider that.
Yeah, so, I think, yeah, I consider it too. I just like to categorize it in my brain
as a different thing.
Yeah, but if we're just considering AJ Brown was probably the best pick in this draft, like regardless, he's already had 3 dominant seasons in the NFL. His volume stats may not look like it because
last year he was kind of
their volume stats may not look like
it. No, I'm saying like he was kind of hurt and stuff, you know.
Yeah, because of injuries and the Titans run first offense. But when he's on the field, he dominates.
Oh no, I completely agree. I think he's insane.
And they only gave up a first round pick and a third round to get him. And you've seen some of these other receiver trades this offseason or even during this same draft, which we'll get to. That's a steal and a half for AJ Brown. And they already locked him up the night of the draft.
Literally 10 minutes later.
So, and I really like what they're doing with Jalen Hurts. It's like
getting him.
If he fails now, like they're making him prove it. Like, this is his prove it year. They're surrounding him with talent. And then they have the extra ammo next year because of that Saints trade to get a quarterback if they want to. But then the rest of their draft, they also got Jordan Davis, who's pretty much everyone on NFL Twitter's like favorite player.
He's insane.
And like, what can you say negative about him? And they traded up like 2 spots to get him, but it wasn't a huge deal. He's going to dominate in that defense. And then there are other players.
I think they got the best center in the draft.
Yeah, Cam Jurgens. He was also projected to go higher than that. That he's selected at 51. And then, of course, Nakobe Dean,
probably the best
projected first rounder, and he fell to 83rd.
Well, that's because of his shoulder. He decided not to get surgery on it. But
like, I'm always on the mindset, like, if he's a good player, he's a good player. Like,
yeah, but like that could be like career.
Right. But like once it gets to a certain point, I'm saying like,
it's like a player of his caliber.
Yeah,
I agree.
And then they later got
their next picks were in the 6th round.
Yeah, they don't really matter. But getting AJ Brown, Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, and Kobe Dean, that's instantly a win in my book.
I completely agree. I love the Jordan Davis and the Cameron. I love their first 3 rounds. I mean, they didn't have any picks really after that. They had 2 6-round picks, and I'm sorry, I don't really know much about them. Maybe they are good. And obviously,
we are not draft experts.
Yeah, no, I mean, once a year, what just happened? Sorry. Once a year, I go in on one prospect. It's been 2 quarterbacks last 2 years. I was actually going to do Trayvon Walker as a second video because I don't like Trayvon Walker as a prospect. And I flipped out when he went first overall because I'm like, you don't deserve that. My number 1 winner is I was between 2 teams. Really 3, but I was between the Ravens and the Jets as my other winner. I guess it's kind of out of order in a way, my listing, because I do have this team as number 1, and then like tied with number 2 would be the other team.
I didn't really rank mine, so you're good.
Yeah. The New York Jets came out the best. They might be better than the Patriots next year, and I don't like to think about that. They got Ahmad Sauce Gardner at 4, Cincinnati corner, who didn't allow a single touchdown in all of college. Was a part of the Cincinnati team that made the playoffs some way, somehow, even though they deserved it. But it's like, how does a school like that make it if you're in the eyes of a college football fan? But it's like good for them. You know what I mean? They deserved it. Number 10, they got the best receiver in the draft by a mile. Screw Drake London. He's not good at football. Ohio State wide receiver Garrett Wilson. Number 26, they got someone who should have gone in the top 15 or Jermaine Johnson, the second Florida State defensive end. Absolute animal. 36, they got Breece Hall, best running back in the draft from Iowa State. Sorry. I was really confused by this pick because I really like Michael Carter, but it's like when Michael Carter's not in the game, if he's hurt, if he needs like a break, who are they going to have? Tevin Coleman? No.
And they traded up for him too.
Yeah.
They had one of the best day ones in the draft, but that Breece Hall pick just
was amazing.
Yeah, he's the best running back in the draft, but they have so many holes. I would have gone elsewhere with that one, but it doesn't tank their draft.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team building for the future. I mean, like they're really just best player available, you know.
But also, running backs are best on their rookie deal, and then you let them go. So, are they going to do much winning while he's on his rookie deal?
I guess, yeah.
But and like I said, it's not a deal breaker or anything. It's
no. And then round 3, get a tight end. They've needed a tight end for God knows how long.
Yeah, they signed CJ Uzomah too, so they could have.
Yeah. So it's a good tandem there. Get offensive tackle in the 4th from Louisiana, and then a defensive end in the 4th as well. Honestly, just helping out Zach Wilson. You're helping out Zach Wilson. You're helping out Robert Saleh with improving his defense, improving Zach Wilson's weapons with wide receiver, tight end, running back, and then, a tackle. We'll see how the tackle does, I guess, because it's a 4th round pick, but, could always be good. I mean, Tyreek Hill was a 5th or 4th round pick, 5th round pick. So,
great. The 3 guys I got in the first round, I saw all of them mocked to them at the 4th overall pick. So the fact that they got them at 4, 10, and 26 is a huge deal. And I'm glad that they went corner and receiver first rather than edge. Yeah. I feel those are, at least those level of players are more impactful on winning, and they could help Zach Wilson in the future. So, the Jets probably, along with the Lions, improved their team the most. Maybe they didn't make the best, positional or draft value picks in the draft, but as an overall team, they probably improved the most coming out of this draft.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned the Ravens. They're not going to be who I talk about, but I thought we would just discuss them briefly because they're pretty much everyone's favorite draft because they just picked every player that every person liked, and they were all pretty much value picks across the board.
Kyle Hamilton felled them.
Got the best safety, maybe one of the best players in this draft at 14, Kyle Hamilton. Then Tyler Linderbaum at 25, the best center in the class. David Ojabo, he's probably not going to play this year, but if he was healthy, he would be a first-round pick. They got him at 45. Travis Jones, getting him at 76. He's not as good as Jordan Davis, but the gap between where Davis went and Travis Jones, I don't know if that makes up for their difference in talent. And just they had 6 4th-round picks. They spent one on a punter, but you have 6 4th-round picks. You got to spend them somewhere. Yeah. And they traded away Marquise Brown, which I sure they don't really have any receivers now, and they were already kind of receiver needy. But
they didn't even
when you get 3 years out of your first-round pick, and then he wants out. He's the one who wants out. And then you ship him and get the same value that you spent on him. You can't pass that up. It's not like he was an AJ Brown type talent either. And then they drafted 2 tight ends. So they didn't get a receiver, but they got 2 tight ends, and they run a lot of 2 tight end sets that could make up for it. And Rashad Bateman is going to explode this year.
I just realized something. No, that's great and all, but there's one very much more important thing in my mind when you just brought up the fact that they don't have any wide receivers. Jarvis Landry's going to the Ravens, and I'm going to kill myself.
Yep.
And I'm going to kill myself.
They always kind of go after those. Remember they signed Des Bryant a couple years ago? So they could
whoa.
They could get Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry at this point in his career is 10 times better than what.
No, I wasn't saying that. I'm just saying they always go after these veteran. They even got Sammy Watkins. Whoa.
No.
There's a lot of veteran receivers like Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, T.Y. Hilton, Will Fuller is out there. Yeah. So they're going to sign somebody. Maybe it'll be closer to the season. But the guys they have, because Devin Duvernay is their second receiver right now.
That's terrible.
They're not going to enter the season with that. They're going to sign or trade for somebody. But I wanted to go after the Ravens, if you didn't have any other comments on them. The last winner I wanted to talk about was the Kansas City Chiefs. Like the fact that they got Trent McDuffie, corner, big need. George Karlaftis, an edge defender, big need, both of whom fell. Sky Moore at 54th overall. They desperately need a receiver. And the fact that when they picked in the first round, everybody assumed they were going to go receiver, but all the first round talent had gone by that point, so they didn't pick one. So the fact that they got Sky Moore at 54, he could, his talent, he's kind of like a Golden State type player. He could do some crazy things in that Chiefs offense.
Oh, yeah.
And then they got I really like Leo Chenal. He's a really athletic linebacker, and pairing him with Nick Bolton and Willie Gay. The Chiefs have one of the best linebacking groups in the NFL. And then they shored up their secondary with other Brian Cook, Joshua Williams, and then a bunch of late round picks. The Chiefs, people were kind of writing them off after they traded Tyreek Hill. They're saying this is kind of a down year, but they really dominated this draft.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a contender. They were going to be a contender regardless because they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, but they really shored up a lot of weaknesses in this draft.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like their draft as well. I mean, I just don't want to think about it because, I don't like the Chiefs, but I bet you don't either, but how about let's just do one loser for each of us. Okay.
The Patriots. No,
well,
we already talked on that.
I don't want to. Yeah. Seattle Seahawks. Charles Cross. Sure. Whatever. A good pick. Just don't care. Boy Mafe. Okay. That doesn't help you really. You have so many other, you need to draft for the future, and outside linebacker. While it is definitely a need, you got to hit on other positions. In my opinion, you got to still get some more offensive line help. I think they probably should have gone like guard with one of these 2 back-to-back picks, even though I know they traded up for one of them, I believe, right?
Kenneth Walker.
Oh, I'll get to that in a second. Give me a sec. So, I mean, I feel like they could have gone guard, maybe corner. I don't think outside linebacker was I don't think that was what you should have gone with right there, in my opinion. Hey, they need outside linebacker, but I just think there's other positions you need to hit first. Other positions you need to hit first. Let me re-say that. Sorry. With the 9th overall pick in the second round, they took probably the worst pick of the draft, and not him as a player, but where he landed in the fit. Kenneth Walker, the third from Michigan State running back, makes no goddamn sense. You need a quarterback. You have Drew Lock as your quarterback. Drew Lock is your quarterback. And you
Malik
have Chris
Willis,
Carson.
Desmond Ridder,
you have Chris
they all fell to
Carson,
them.
who, although he's injury prone, he still exists and is good. You have Rashad Penny, who blew up in the last 5 games. You have Travis Homer, who's there. He's just there. But to spend a second round pick on one of your best positions on your team makes no sense. They got another tackle in the 3rd round. They got Kobe Bryant, corner. Finally did a corner in the 4th round. Wow, it took you that long. Who even is your number 1 corner right now? I don't know. Kobe Bryant, 4th round pick. I genuinely do not know who's on cornerback at their depth chart.
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah. And then another corner, DN, wide receiver. Why didn't you take Malik Willis? Are you trading for Baker Mayfield? Like, what are you doing? If they trade for Baker Mayfield, I'll accept them not taking Malik Willis because I'm a Malik Willis stan. I think he's the best quarterback in the draft by a goddamn mile when it comes to ceiling. Floor, hell no.
I thought you didn't cuss.
Goddamn isn't a thing. I don't say like the hard ones. Shut up. Now I'm off track. Gosh, why'd you do this to me?
Gosh, dang it.
No. I'm not that cringe. Come on. But yeah, he has the lowest floor of all the quarterbacks, or like the quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like Bailey Zapp. Who cares?
And yeah, I get it if they're just trying to, because they have one of the worst rosters in the NFL right
Terrible.
now. I get it if they're
team.
just looking forward to a quarterback next year, but when these quarterbacks fell so far,
do they even have a first next? Do they even have a first next year? Oh, Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
but do they have their own, or is that the Jamal Adams trade?
No, I think they have it.
Okay, I was just making fun of them because Pete Carroll's awful as well.
Yeah, the Kenneth Walker pick was so classic Pete Carroll. Like, that was such a Pete Carroll pick. Like, I follow a lot of Seahawks fans on Twitter, and they were dreading the pick because they knew a running back was coming instead of one of the quarterbacks who fell. And like you said, that's probably one of their best positions. And the fact that they have so many guys, Chris Carson was a 7th round pick. Rashad Penny did nothing for years until he blew up last year. They are a prime example of why you don't waste valuable assets on a running back, because these guys can come out of nowhere. But what do I know?
Exactly.
I'm not a 70-year-old white head coach in the NFL.
I mean,
We want to bash another team?
you got it.
Let's go with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had the number 1 pick in the draft. I really, really did not get this number 1 pick. I feel like they're just trying to be smarter than everybody else by going against the consensus by taking Travon Walker. Like, what does he do that Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau don't?
Travon Walker didn't start last year.
He just has long arms. Like, is that it?
He's fast. He's agile. He can jump. He's athletic. Like, boo-hoo. Is he good at football? Not really.
He did not have a 10% pressure rate in any of his seasons in college.
Hey, but I like
which
the
is
Devin Lloyd
not.
pick.
I don't mind the pick, but they also traded up for it, which for a position like that, I don't know if you would do it. Yeah. And then especially bad, they traded up for Snoop Connor, running back from Mississippi. I know it's a 5th round pick, but they traded up for him when, like I said about the Seahawks, the Jaguars are one of the teams that James Robinson undrafted. And then this is even after they picked ETN last year in the 1st round. I do not know what they're doing. Chad Muma, he's an athletic linebacker. That could be good. I don't really know much about Will Porter, the center. But when you have these kind of assets, when you have this chance, even though it's a lesser draft, you have to take advantage of it. And the Jaguars did not. And this is why the Jaguars will stay the Jaguars. This is why bad teams stay bad, because they overspend in free agency on not very good players, and they don't pick the best players in the draft, or they trade away assets in the draft for players that are not worth those positions.
I'm telling you, like I said, I flipped out when they picked Travon Walker first. Not a Jaguars fan. That's been made clear and obvious, but I hated it. Now, do you want to get into AJ Brown and Marquise Brown, or did we already talk about that?
I feel like we talked on AJ Brown, but we could talk a little bit more about Marquise Brown.
I mean, now with the Hopkins suspension, I like it. I mean, sure. It's 1st round pick for Marquise, which it probably isn't worth the 1st, but I mean, it's a late 1st.
And at least at that point in the draft, all the other receivers had mostly gone.
Yeah. I mean,
they're going to have to pay him soon if they want to keep him. So
yeah, but I
don't
mean,
know about that. But at least he and Kyler were good together. So at least there's that going for them. But like you said, the DeAndre Hopkins suspension, even though it's only 6 games,
it helps
in the long run of things.
Because you have Marquise, you have AJ Green, you have Rondell Moore, you have Christian Kirk's gone.
Andy Isabella might be on the outs.
Yeah. Max Williams isn't a bad tight end.
So I like at that point, like I don't hate it for the Cardinals. The Ravens clearly won the deal, but like I get where Arizona is coming from.
It's like all right. It's just like that was random, but you do you. I don't really have an issue with it.
Like I was shocked when I saw the compensation.
I agree.
But like, it's like I see what you're doing. I wouldn't have done it, but I see what you're doing.
Yeah, just building weapons. That's what Cliff Kingsbury likes.
And now we've been talking about quarterbacks like this is their last shot. This isn't that for Kyler Murray, but it could be that for Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury sucks.
They have another fall off at the end of the season. If they can't get the offense consistently flowing like it should with all this talent, I feel like you got to go in another direction.
He's genuinely not a good coach. He's top 5 worst.
Top 10. But he's young and he looks hip.
Yeah, he coaches college football in the NFL. I don't like it.
He was not good at that either. College.
What'd you say?
But I said he was not good when he was in coaching.
Yeah, he didn't have a winning record. But as we speak in the Cardinals, Hopkins was suspended for 6 games. I accidentally had PEDs. Okay.
But, he doesn't want to get the vaccine. I don't know if we want to get into that, but he's not afraid to take PEDs. That's a discussion for another time. But I thought it was worth pointing out.
Yeah. I I mean, the Cardinals, they traded for Marquise Brown. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing that we just said. Yeah, it hurts because he's like top whatever.
Yeah, like people think like Hopkins has dropped off because he didn't do much last year, but that's just because he was hurt. When he was healthy, he had like one of the best yards per route run and DVOA marks in the league. Like he's still DeAndre Hopkins. So once he comes back, it's going to dominate.
Exactly. In only 11 games too. We'll probably have like 900, 1,000 yards, something like that. Hopefully. I love Hopkins. But I mean, it hurts the Cardinals offense a little bit, but they just traded for Marquise Brown. They still have James Conner, who's done things for them, I guess. Rondell Moore is up and coming. AJ Green is weirdly solid again.
I thought he was completely washed at the end of his tenure in Cincinnati, but he did some things last year.
Yeah, he did. He did pretty good. But there's one thing that I think. So that's basically all I got at Hopkins. It's like, okay, it hurts, but like, whoa, big deal. Tyrann Mathieu signed to the Saints. Can I talk about the Saints for a second? The draft.
No.
So
I'm kidding.
I'm a big Jameis fan. As we know, the Saints had 2 first-round picks. When they traded up, I'm like, they're going to take quarterback. They're going to take quarterback. They're going to take Kenny Pickett. They're going to take Malik. I mean, if it was Malik, I would have been somewhat happy, but I still would have been upset. But I was like, they're going to take quarterback, and then they didn't. They took Chris Olave, and I was like, but yes, get Jameis help. And then they had the other pick. What was it, 19?
Yeah, 19. Trevor Penning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, quarterback. It's going to be Kenny Pickett. It's going to be Malik. It was an offensive tackle. And I was like flipping out because I like I said, I love Jameis. I have really weird favorite players, as this has been talked about a lot. They didn't take a single quarterback this whole draft, and I was ecstatic because I was like, let's go. Like, Jameis is the guy.
And we've seen this with the Saints before. 4 years ago when they traded up for Marcus Davenport and everybody thought they were going to get Lamar Jackson. They have their guys that they like, and they're so confident in the guys they like, they're not going to stop anyone from getting them but themselves. So, like, factoring in the Eagles trade with the Saints earlier this last month. They traded a lot for Chris Olave. And I really like him, but like they don't shy away from getting their guys. Like if you compare what the Lions had to give up to trade up 20 spots to get Jameson Williams compared to what the Saints had to give up for Chris Olave, it's pretty stark. But like I respect them building around Jameis, getting talent on both to protect him and throwing, because they had pretty much neither last year.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see the Saints. I know we talked on a previous podcast that we both think they're playoff bound, and this draft, even though it might mortgage their future a bit, it really helps them right now.
Yeah. And you also have Tyrann Mathieu signing 3-year, $33 million, $18 million guaranteed. That's the best. That's insane.
And that's
you get him for 3 years, right? Because what is he, 29?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he's 29. And the reason why he took this long to get signed is because people didn't know how long to sign him for, how much money to give him, because they don't know how much longer he's going to be good for. Safeties historically, isn't the best aging position. So it's like, how much do we give him? 2 year? Do we give him 1 year, 3? Well, the Saints found a perfect deal where it's just enough money and just enough time so that he can get cut if needed, and he can stay on the team if needed. So, they lost Marcus Williams, Malcolm Jenkins as well, right?
Yeah, he retired.
Yeah, he retired. Marcus Williams signed somewhere. I really don't know where.
Baltimore.
Oh, thank you. But I think that's probably one of the better signings of the offseason now that, it's 2 months in. But
we've talked about this, Tyrann Mathieu, for basically every episode of the podcast. Like, where is he going to sign? He should sign here. He should sign here. And the Saints,
I thought he was going to be a Steeler. I thought he was a Steeler.
So did I, and I am still a little sad about that. But this is a great fit from both team and the fact that he's from there. I feel
and went to college
he's been solid like the past couple of years with the Chiefs, but I feel like
don't you say he's overrated?
He could be revitalized. Me?
Yeah, it wasn't you that was like he's like kind of overrated. Like you're like he's not like top 3.
I don't remember saying that, but I don't think he's top 3 currently.
Or like top 5.
At the top of his game, probably. Okay. Safety is one of those positions, or defensive back in general, where
changes a lot.
The best players aren't consistent year to year.
Yeah,
it's really, you got to look at the scope of things. So, like a gun to my head, probably top 5 talent, but it just depends on what actually happens on the field in a certain year. But I feel like he could be rejuvenated. And
I love his fit with Dennis Allen. because Dennis Allen, he was the defensive coordinator there for a long time. And now he's the head coach since Peyton resigned / retire. I don't think he's retired. I think he's come back. Not to the Saints, though. Dallas Dolphins, something like that. But I think he fits well into the scheme because Dennis Allen's a great defensive coach, always has been. He's been on that staff for a pretty good while now, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it works perfectly. I think it works perfectly. I don't think there's probably like a few better fits in the offseason, but I think that's one of the best.
Yeah, they already had one of the best defenses last year. And I don't know if I'd say they improved because they lost pieces, but they haven't dropped off like a lot of people might have expected. So they're going to have one of the best defenses in the league. And now with a healthy quarterback and more talent around him, I said this last year, but an injury has ruined that. I would be shocked if the Saints do not make the playoffs in 2022.
No, they will. They will. That's a video idea. So, yeah, that's really all I got for Mathieu in the NFL. And now let's talk about our favorite team in the NBA, Boston Celtics. We just won game 2 last night. My roommate was actually at the game, one of my roommates. We won by like 23, something like that.
Right to me.
What?
Sounds right to me.
Yeah. Grant Williams is a god. I hate Derek White. Always have. Dude. Oh my God. I hate Derek White. Oh my God. I hate Derek White. If he shoots an open three, shoots an open three, I close my eyes. I just let it happen. I was like, it's not going in. I know it's not. He's shooting worse than Giannis from 3 in the playoffs.
I am not surprised.
I hate Derek White. Like he does, if he drives to the rim, go ahead. I don't mind you doing that, but do not shoot an open 3. You can't do it. Do not shoot a 3, any 3, wide open. No one within 10 feet. My roommate asked me during the game because I was flipping out when he shot open 3 because it's like a joke. He's like, and our other joke is like Grant Williams dribbling with a basketball. It's like, Joe, to save your life, would you rather have Grant Williams pump fake Bobby Portis and Wesley Matthews and drive to the rim, or Derek White shoot an open 3 to save your life? I said, I want Grant Williams driving to the rim with the pump fake. I want that. I trust that more than Derek White shooting an open 3 in a game. And Grant Williams single-handedly sold a game for us because he can't dribble in the end of the regular season. He dribbled off his foot, and then he tried to do a step back game winner in overtime. And I was like, what? Why are you taking the shot?
Like, Grant Williams is so strange because, like, he was probably their biggest reason they won last night besides Jaylen Brown hitting all those threes. And then, like you said, you have those moments where he tries to do too much and it backfires.
I mean, like Grant, he's the weirdest. He's honestly become one of the better defenders in the NBA. He can guard Giannis. Like what? He's 6'6". He's just beefy and like good. And he could shoot. Where did the shooting come from?
He hit twice as many threes as the Bucks did last night.
I bet he's hit 9,000 times as many threes as Derek White has in the playoffs.
This is going to be a whole thing.
No, it will be. I genuinely do not like Derek White. I don't hate any athletes. It's been a thing with like my roommate's like, oh, I hate Karl-Anthony Towns. I hate LeBron. I'm like, whatever you say, dude. And I'm like, I genuinely hate Derek White. He is like one of the first athletes I have found a hatred for. And whatever. Bucks, I don't screw you.
The fact that
I've never liked the Milwaukee Bucks.
They only hit 3 3-pointers, but the bigger tell for me was they only attempted 18 when the Celtics had 40 plus, close to 50. Like the Celtics defense, even without Marcus Smart, is just hounding at all times. And Al Horford, especially, like his playoff run, this adds to his Hall of Fame case. Oh yeah. Like the fact that he looked dead in the water with Philadelphia. And the fact that he's come back, he's also locking down.
That was the stupidest signing I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was doomed to fail from the start. Like, I was not shocked at all. No. I was sad when he signed there because I like Al Horford and I didn't want to see it.
I do too. Everyone from Boston loves Al Horford.
But yeah, he's
beautiful too. Phenomenal. He's a beautiful. His eyes. Oh my God, he has the most beautiful pair of eyes I've ever seen. But yeah, I think. What do you think of this series? Like, what do you see it going to? It's going to 7.
before the series started, I said Celtics in 6. I feel like I may want to amend that to 7, but just for the sake of things, I'll stick with 6 just to be
Celtics
different.
7. I will never. No, all right. I don't care if this is biased. I'm never going to say the Celtics are going to lose a series except for last year against the Nets. I knew last year against the Nets, not this year.
Yeah.
Not this year. And what about the other second round matchups? Heat and literally 4 with Embiid out. If
maybe
Embiid
if he
comes
comes
back,
back,
they'll win
they
a
can
game.
get one. But
if Embiid comes back, they'll win a game or 2. Maybe James Harden can win a game. Heat in 4 or 5. I don't think I need to talk.
5.
I don't think I need to talk about that
No.
anymore. Suns, Dallas. I got Suns in 6.
I think I'm gonna go Suns in 5. I just think they have too much. Like maybe Luka can get you more than one game, but
that's really what I'm giving it to.
Feeling.
Well, you also have to consider Jalen Brunson won't have a bad game like that, like consistently.
True. And they made a run at the end of game 1.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. But like Jalen Brunson will have a more consistent game going forward, most likely. But I think it's 2 games. You know what I mean? Dallas wins 2.
And how about the most entertaining
Warriors,
series
Grizzlies,
so far?
Warriors in 7.
I think even after last night's events, I'm going to say Warriors in 5. Mic drop.
Whoa. Why?
The fact that the Warriors, they won.
Yeah, you got to explain this. I'm ready. I'm curious.
First, the Warriors in 5 was my pick from the start, so maybe it's a little bit.
They're your what? They're your what?
That was my pick before the series. Warriors in 5.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe I'm not amending on that. So maybe that plays a little part in it. But they won game 1 without Draymond Green for a half, and with like Jaren Jackson completely blowing up.
Dude, that was crazy.
And it should not have been. The calls in this series so far, like I don't put tinfoil hat on, they have been decidedly for the Grizzlies.
Oh yeah.
Like even aside from the Draymond Green ejection, just Ja Morant.
And well, you got was it Dylan Brooks or Desmond B? Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks
got ejected. Yeah, that's the same player to me. They average basically the same stats. I mean, they don't play the same remotely. Like they do not play the same remotely. Like Dylan Brooks is just like I'm just gonna like, do something. Desmond Bane's more of like an actual, like, consistent. But like they are genuine. They are like the same, around the same height, play the same position, average like the same amount of points. They're the same player to me. So sorry to completely interrupt. I just had to get that across.
You're not forgiven. Don't let it happen again.
Wonderful.
But yeah, the Warriors, they should be up 2-0, and I was on the road going back to Golden State, one of the best home court advantages in the NBA, and they have like the championship pedigree, whatever you want to call it, the leadership, all that. And maybe a little bit the fact that Ja was talking smack to Steph Curry after last night's game. Like, we all know, of all people, you don't do that to Steph Curry. We saw what happened when Chris
Top 2 point guard of all time, and he might not be 2, and you don't do that.
Like, and they're going back home to Golden State. I just think they have too much
on their plate.
Yeah, the Grizzlies, they barely won with calls in their favor. Ja Morant going for 47 points.
Yeah.
And they still had to get a winning shot basically in the last minute or so. I'm sticking with Warriors in 5, and I'm sticking with my Celtics Warriors finals prediction.
I think this is a great series. I think this is probably going to be the most entertaining one. I could see it going to 6. I think it's 6 or 7. I can't see 5, which I understand why you say that, but like,
yeah, I'm going 5, but I wouldn't be shocked if it goes 6 or 7. But regardless,
I just think it's so competitive that every game's going to be like that close. And given how Scott Foster is, and because he's most likely going to be officiating most of these games for but
got the word officiating.
Yeah. But I the teams are so competitive. They match up well. I gotta say 6 or 7, but I think Warriors. I don't think, I saw a thing actually. Ja Morant basically carries every time he dribbles, but I saw that, but yeah. I don't know.
I think we're all tapped out on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, get me with the stupid trivia today.
You see, the thing is, I completely forgot about trivia until about 5 minutes before we got on. So that was why I made you delay, because I was coming up with a trivia question. But I still have one. So over the past 3 seasons, 2019, 2020, and 2021, 4 wide receivers have been in the top 6 of yards per route run at least twice. So maybe in 2019 and in 2020, or in 2019 and 2021, 4 receivers have been in the top 6 of yards per route run at least twice. Can you name them?
I don't want. I'm gonna go Hopkins.
That is incorrect.
Wait, top what?
The top 6.
Top 6, and it's 4 receivers.
Yeah.
Devontae. No shot.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, he's been in the top 6 each of the past 3 seasons.
I just thought that, I thought with the amount of routes he does run, and the amount of targets.
He's that good.
Yeah.
He was 6th in 2019. He was 1st in 2020 and 3rd last year. Tyreek Hill is incorrect.
Just wide receivers.
Just wide receivers.
Okay, because I was gonna say Kelsey, but one sec. I'm not pulling up that stat. I'm just pulling up receiving yards.
Probably won't even know how to find it.
Yeah, no. I don't know what website that would be on, if you want me to be quite honest.
And for anybody
I'm definitely not saying Cooper Kupp, because he's only had 1 season like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. This is gonna be random as hell. Oh no, Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson is correct.
This one's random. Keenan Allen.
Incorrect. But Justin Jefferson was 4th this past year and 2nd in 2020.
Diggs.
Stephon Diggs was 2nd in 2019, his last year in Minnesota, and 5th in 2020.
Mike Evans.
Incorrect. There's
Chris
one
Godwin.
player left. Incorrect.
DJ Moore.
Incorrect.
How cool? Am I in the caliber, or is he a top guy?
I mean,
where do you think he ranks among wide receivers?
He's definitely in the top 10, I would say.
Top 10?
Maybe higher. It just depends on preferences.
Past 2. I feel like this is going to be is it AJ Brown?
It is AJ Brown. I was
going to say him or Deontay Johnson.
He was 3rd in his rookie season in 2019. He was 3rd in 2020, and he was 6th this past year. So he and Devontae Adams are the only 2 players to be in the top 6 each of the past 3 seasons. As I said, when he's on the field, he's dominant. Yards per outrun is one of the more telling statistics for wide receiver play, rather than standard yards, because it doesn't take into account targets or routes. And same with yards per reception. Yards per target is very stable year to year. And you can find these stats on Pro Football Focus. Who should hire me?
I just canceled my subscription to PFF, only temporarily, because I forgot that I had an annual renewal and it charged me $100. And I was like, no, not now. It's May. I don't need it yet.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So I was like, no, I'll let you know when I can do that. But what was I about to say? Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I expect most of those guys. Who was it? It was Devontae, AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I always think you're gonna hit me. It's gonna be someone weird on there. Not weird, but like I thought Mike Evans was for sure for some reason. But
he's he's had that record where he has so many 1,000 yard seasons in a row, but he barely crosses that sometimes. He's right on the edge.
Yeah.
So I get
1,008 this last year. Yeah. I just thought I was trying to go outside the box.
That's why I gotta keep you on your toes. Sometimes out of the box, sometimes that
not at all,
sense.
Not remotely at all. Well, I think that's all we got, huh?
I believe so.
All right, well, guys, thank you for tuning into episode 6 of the JM Touchdown Show. Again, this is recorded on May 4th, 2022. Mike has something to say.
I do. We ran a poll on Twitter.
Oh yeah, we did run a
Probably
poll.
update. We were talking about the new receivers, veteran receivers with their new teams earlier about AJ Brown and Marquise Brown. What?
I had nothing to do with the poll. You did it.
You never do. So
I'm not
we
good
got
at social media. All right.
we have 8 followers, so clearly neither of us are. And that's more followers than we have on Instagram and TikTok combined. So
Yeah.
anyways, follow us on Twitter at JM Touchdown Show. We ran a poll. It said, which veteran wide receiver will have the biggest impact with his new team in 2022? The options were AJ Brown, Marquise Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Davante Adams. Those are the 4 receivers who were traded for first-round picks this offseason. Coming in last place was Marquise Brown, who had 4.8% of the votes, which I'm surprised somebody actually voted for him. He had 0 for a while. Third place was Tyreek Hill with the Dolphins, 23.8%. Davante Adams was next at 28.6%. And first place by a long shot was AJ Brown with the Eagles. He had 42.9% of the votes.
I voted for AJ Brown. How doesn't Davante Adams have more votes than that, though? It should be closer.
It was between those two for me. I also went AJ Brown, but
I mean, Tyreek Hill's a better receiver than AJ Brown, in my opinion. But I just think,
but the fit there and with Tua, I feel like AJ Brown will have more of an impact.
I had to yawn, but I was going to say the exact same thing. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Well, we always run a poll like once a week before an episode. Speaking of once a week, we haven't been consistent. As I said in the first attempt at recording this, but it lasted 30 seconds because I messed up completely in the intro. We both have just Mike, as I said earlier, graduated, so he was busy with that, and I've been busy with school and my own stuff and all that. So we need a couple weeks to just reconcile, figure stuff out, and yeah.
The listeners get it, all 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching or listening to the JM Touchdown Show, episode 6. Make sure you follow our socials, which will be linked down below in the YouTube description. If you're on Spotify, good luck.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically anywhere you can find a podcast.
Sorry, I'm a Spotify guy. That's why I only said Spotify.
I do not listen to podcasts on Spotify. I can't do it.
No, I mean, just like music. I don't really.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Either way.
We're not talking about music, Joe.
Yeah. No. But thank you guys for tuning in. Follow our socials. Episode, I won't guarantee next week, but most likely because I'll be done with school. So
subscribe to our YouTube channels. Joe, you want to talk about your most recent video?
So I had a video. It was Malik Willis be the best quarterback in this draft. Expect him to go first round. I could have seen him going as high as number 2. The Detroit Lions. I mean, I didn't think so. It was just a thought. He went number 86 to the Tennessee Titans. Screw Ryan Tannehill for him being an immature loser.
I feel like that quote is taken out of context.
I don't
care. A lot of people say stuff like that.
I don't care. I don't like him. I've never liked Ryan Tannehill.
You're speaking to a Ryan Tannehill right here.
Yeah, whatever. Malik Stan Willis. That didn't make sense, but I tried to do it.
I feel like we gotta stop now.
Yeah. But I made a video on saying he'll be the best. I did some film, watched some film for that, did some research. And clearly the NFL teams completely disagree with me because he went third quarterback taken. Somehow Desmond Ridder went above him, which was blasphemy. But that's all I got to say. We might have some big things coming to you guys. Not confirmed. Thought it was, but we don't know yet. We're gonna try and figure that out, and
you'll know when it comes out.
When it comes, yeah. So thank you guys. Hope you all have a wonderful day. I mean, it's currently 8:18. The clock just changed as we're finishing this. So this will be out tomorrow, Friday?
Yes, this should be out on Friday. I mean, not really used to saying it now because when they're listening to it, they'll be listening to it already. So
you really think, come on, they're going to listen to this whole little me whispering into a microphone at the end? No.
I would. I'm a loyal listener.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you guys all have a wonderful day.
This was fun. I'm glad we got back to it, and we'll see you guys next week, probably.
Adios.